America has millions of jobs. And then there are the ones that feel like dares. The people who get paid to stand in line, sniff armpits, warm hotel beds, and do things you'd never admit on a resume today on Factoland. We're counting down 33 dumbest jobs still somehow alive in the USA. Real jobs, real paychecks, and real proof that the economy is just vibes. Let's get into it. Number 1, the professional line stander. Picture this, it's 4 a.m., the street is dark, the wind is freezing, and a line of exhausted strangers is already forming around the block. Most people are here for the same thing: a new phone, a concert ticket, a deal they swear they can't miss. But one person in that line isn't excited at all, because they're not here for themselves. They're working. Professional line standers get paid to take someone else's misery shift. They wait for hours, protecting a spot like it's a national border, while the person who hired them wakes up at 9, eats breakfast, and casually strolls in at the last minute. The best part? The client still acts tired, like they fought the same battle. This job exists for one simple American reason. Why suffer yourself when you can outsource it? Number 2. Before we even say the job, imagine this. You walk into work knowing you might get bitten, spat at, or straight up murdered by something that doesn't even have eyelids. Most people clock in, drink their coffee, answer emails. You're staring at a venomous snake that looks like it woke up choosing violence. Snake milkers extract venom for anti-venom and medical research, which sounds noble until you realize the actual technique involves holding a snake's head and convincing it to bite a glass jar. Yes, that's the job. Your entire day is just, please don't kill me, Mr. Rattlesnake. It's one of the few careers where a bad day at work literally means hospital. And somehow, it still pays less than some people on TikTok make in an afternoon. Number 3, you walk into a quiet, sterile testing room, and for a moment it feels like you're part of a scientific experiment. Stainless steel counters, clipboards, lab coats, everything looks serious. Until they place a bowl of dog food in front of you like you're about to judge a 5-star entree. Pet food tasters are responsible for chewing. Not swallowing, chewing. Everything from wet cat food to senior dog kibble. They're analyzing texture, density, flavor notes, moisture levels, all the things your dog absolutely does not care about while inhaling dinner, like a vacuum cleaner. Every sample comes with a form too. Does it crumble correctly? Does it coat the tongue evenly? Does it feel meaty? Meanwhile, the real consumer is in the next room licking his own butt. And the wildest part? This job exists because humans simply do not trust animals to rate their own food. Imagine spending years in culinary school just to end up critiquing tuna-flavored sludge for a living. It's the one job where you pray your friends never ask. So, what do you do? Number 4. Picture a peaceful golf course on a sunny morning, birds chirping, rich people arguing about who cheated on the 7th hole. Now imagine stepping past all that serenity, putting on scuba gear, and voluntarily lowering yourself into a pond that looks like it's hiding at least 3 crimes. Golf ball divers disappear into water so murky they can't even see their own hands. Nothing down there is friendly. Snapping turtles, angry carp, weird mossy ropes that grab your legs, and the occasional mystery object that you pray isn't a body. And while you're underwater blindfolded by mud, somewhere above you, a golfer casually slices another ball straight into your direction. Their mission? Collect every ball, and sometimes thousands, buried deep in sludge. They come up gasping, covered in pond stains older than the course itself, dragging a giant mesh bag that smells like a haunted aquarium. Then those balls get cleaned, packaged, and resold, usually to the same golfers who lost them in the first place. It's the only job where you can almost die, so someone named Todd can save $2 on recycled golf balls. Number 5. Imagine walking into a small studio apartment lit like a yoga retreat. Soft music playing, blankets folded with military precision. And then being told your job for the next hour is to lie down and cuddle a complete stranger like you've known them since kindergarten. Professional cuddlers provide non-romantic, non-weird human contact. which sounds simple until you realize how truly strange humans can be when they know they're paying by the hour. There are rules, of course. No touching certain areas, no inappropriate comments, no falling asleep drooling on the professional. But even with all the boundaries, the sessions can feel like auditing a stranger's loneliness. Some clients just want a comforting hug. Some want to be the little spoon. Some want to talk about their childhood while you're both lying on a giant pillow shaped like a whale in the cuddler. They have to stay perfectly calm, emotionally neutral, and fully present while mentally calculating how long until lunch. It's the only job where HR probably has a category called accidental snuggling incidents. Number 6, picture a funeral. Somber music, black suits, tissues everywhere. And in the very back row, someone crying harder than anyone else, even though nobody seems to know who they are. Professional mourners are paid to attend funerals and express grief on command. Sometimes it's to make the ceremony feel more emotional. Sometimes it's cultural tradition, and sometimes, let's be honest, the family wants to pretend the deceased had more friends than they actually did. These performers must cry convincingly, dab tears at the perfect moment, and occasionally deliver lines like, "He was a great man," truly, without ever slipping up and using the wrong name. They train for it too. Breathing techniques, tear-triggering tricks, dramatic timing. It's basically acting school, except instead of applause, you get a pat on the shoulder and a to-go box of funeral sandwiches. And when the ceremony ends, they quietly disappear into the parking lot like undercover agents of sadness. It's the only job where being too emotional at work is listed under skills on your resume. Number 7. Imagine showing up to work in swim trunks and a helmet. That's already a red flag. Water slide testers are hired to be the first human guinea pigs for slides that engineers proudly describe as probably safe. Your job? Climb 10 flights of stairs, sit in freezing water, and hope the intern didn't miscalculate the angle that determines whether you glide or achieve low-altitude liftoff. The first run is always the worst. The water is ice cold, the slide is too shiny, and there's a moment right before launch where you question every decision that led you here. Then you're launched downward, sideways, upside down, sometimes into a tunnel so dark you start negotiating with God, all while trying to take mental notes like, slight spine realignment at the third bend. By the time you splash out the bottom, the engineer asks calmly, "How was it?" And you answer with the honesty of someone who just saw their life flash twice. They fix it. And you go, again, it's the only job where your performance review is just, "He survived. Good enough." Number 8. You'd think switchboards went extinct with dinosaurs and dial-up internet. But somewhere in America, usually in a hospital or old institution, a lone operator still sits at a glowing panel of blinking lights like they're defusing a Cold War bomb. Their job is to answer calls and plug tiny cables into tiny holes. A system so ancient it should be in a museum, not determining whether your call gets transferred correctly. There's a rhythm to it. Ring, plug, unplug, ring again. And every few minutes someone yells, "Hello? Can you hear me?" Like they're calling from a submarine. Operators must sound calm, organized, friendly. Even when the caller is panicking, confused, or somehow screaming at the wrong person entirely. The job survives because some institutions refuse to upgrade their phone systems, claiming it still works. Which is also what people say about cars with missing doors. It's one of the last jobs where doing it well means nobody ever knows you exist. Number 9. Imagine walking into a lab and seeing people lined up with their arms raised like they're about to start a very sweaty choir. And your job, your actual paid responsibility, is to lean in and inhale deeply enough to make a scientist proudly take notes. Odor judges test deodorants, soaps, laundry detergents, and anything designed to fight human stink. They evaluate sweat levels, longevity, fragrance decay, and unfortunately, armpit personality. Some people smell like nothing. Some smell like gym socks wrapped in sadness, and some unleash a chemical weapon that makes you reconsider every career path you didn't choose. The tester has to keep a straight face, take detailed notes, and resist the urge to retire on the spot. They're professionals, which means they've smelled things that would make a raccoon fold instantly. It's the only job where your nose deserves hazard pay. And probably therapy number 10. Picture this job interview. So tell us, how comfortable are you lying in a stranger's bed? If you didn't walk out immediately, congratulations. You qualify. Bed warmers are hired by luxury hotels to slip under the covers before a guest arrives, heating the sheets with their own body like a human microwave on low power. It's cozy for the guest, but deeply awkward for the employee who must exit the bed exactly 3 minutes before check-in like a secret agent escaping a mission. They have to make sure the sheets are warm, smooth, and absolutely not sweaty, which is a tightrope walk between hospitality and we need HR in room 304. And heaven forbid a guest walks in early. There is no professional way to explain. Hello, sir. I am preheating your mattress. It's the only job where you can legally say, I get paid to lie down, and still go home emotionally exhausted. Number 11. Imagine this, a high-stakes business meeting, a long conference table, nervous employees, and at the head, a man who has absolutely no idea what the company even does. That's the fake executive, a person hired to look like a powerful boss, so a company appears larger, richer, or more important than it actually is. Their job is to sit confidently, nod wisely, and occasionally say things like, let's circle back on that, without accidentally triggering a merger. They show up in expensive suits, shake hands with authority, and hope no one asks a technical question. Because if they do, the fake executive will deliver the ultimate corporate defense. Great point. Let's discuss that offline. They're not leaders. They're props with LinkedIn profiles. It's the only job where you can become the CEO of 15 companies in a week without understanding any of them. Number 12. You don't appreciate how strange this job is until you imagine walking into a lab and a manager saying, okay, today you'll be touching someone's cheek for science. Face feelers. Yes, that's the real term. Run their fingertips across volunteers' skin to test lotions, creams, exfoliants, hydration levels, and smoothness ratings. They're trained to detect microscopic differences, analyze texture changes, and describe them with precision, like, the left cheek is slightly more hydrated, but the right cheek has superior glide. Meanwhile, a perfectly normal person is sitting in a chair thinking, do I make eye contact? Do I not? Is this too weird? Is this my life now? The face feeler has to stay calm, professional, and deeply focused while gently poking someone's jawline like they're checking fruit at a grocery store. It's the only job where soft hands count as a professional qualification. Number 13. Picture a sunny California beach, waves crashing, tourists cheering, lifeguards watching the water. And right in the middle of all that, a golden retriever standing on a surfboard wearing sunglasses, while a fully grown adult shouts, "Good boy! Shift your weight to the left!" Dog surfing instructors train dogs, actual dogs, to balance on surfboards, ride waves, and express confidence through posture. There are warm-ups, there are pep talks, there are treats involved at every stage because, frankly, the dogs are doing 90% of the emotional labor. The job requires balance, patience, and the ability to explain ocean physics to an animal who ate sand 5 minutes ago. And when the dog eventually wipes out, the instructor has to swim out, rescue him, and say things like, "It's okay, buddy. The ocean was aggressive today." It's the only job where a Labrador might genuinely have better beach skills than you. Number 14. You know those tiny stickers on apples? The ones you peel off and stick on your shirt for absolutely no reason? Yeah. Someone puts those on by hand. In certain factories and small farms, fruit sticker appliers manually attach labels to apples, pears, avocados, anything round enough to roll away when you least expect it. The work requires speed, accuracy, and the emotional strength to watch a perfectly stickered apple fall off the conveyor belt and vanish like a runaway bowling ball. The stickers have to be straight, smooth, readable, and unwrinkled. Because nothing ruins a customer's day like a crooked Fuji Apple label. It's repetitive, it's hypnotic, and every once in a while a worker asks themselves the forbidden question, why are we doing this manually? Isn't it 2025? It's the only job where one misplaced sticker can ruin your entire shift's pride. Number 15, imagine standing completely still for hours while tourists stare at you like you're an art piece someone bought from a garage sale. Your face itches, your foot falls asleep. A child pokes your elbow to see if you're real, and you can't react because breaking character means losing tips. Human statues dress in elaborate costumes, gold paint, silver robes, marble makeup, and freeze in public squares like their entire body is buffering. They train themselves to barely blink, barely breathe, and absolutely never flinch, even when a drunk guy yells, "Bro, it's a real person!" The suspense is constant. Will they move? Will they break? Will someone try to take a selfie way too close? And when they finally do move, people scream like they've witnessed resurrection. It's the only job where your biggest skill is being convincingly useless. Number 16. Imagine being in a photo shoot surrounded by expensive lights, makeup artists, and photographers shouting, "Yes! Perfect! Don't move!" And then you realize they're not talking to you. They're talking to your hand. Body part models aren't hired for their faces. They're hired because one specific body part is freakishly flawless hands. Perfect feet, symmetrical ears, a knee that apparently photographs confidently. These models wear gloves to protect their moneymakers, avoid sunlight like vampires, and moisturize like their life depends on it. Because it does. During shoots, their whole job is to hold a product gracefully for hours while the rest of their body is bent, twisted, and folded into positions that look like a crime scene. It's the only career where you can say, "My hand is booked," and mean it seriously. Number 17. It sounds like a dream job. Literally, lie down. Close your eyes. Get paid. But professional sleepers quickly learn that sleeping for science is less peaceful nap and more lab rat with a blanket. These workers test mattresses, pillows, sleep environments, smart beds, and even extreme sleep conditions. Sometimes the room is too cold. Sometimes it's too bright. Sometimes researchers wake you up every 15 minutes to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how refreshed do you feel right now? They sleep hooked up to wires, heart monitors, airflow trackers, and cameras that record everything, including the moment they accidentally drool on an $8,000 luxury mattress prototype. By the end of the night, they're exhausted because nothing drains your energy faster than being paid to relax. It's the only job where coming to work rested is considered unprofessional. Number 18. Behind every nail polish color in the store, from midnight mist to aggressive flamingo, is one overworked employee trying to describe a shade that looks exactly like every other shade. Nail polish namers sit in tiny rooms surrounded by hundreds of bottles that all look vaguely pink, trying to come up with names that sound chic, fun, or mildly threatening. They brainstorm dramatically. Is this Sunset Crush? Coral Chaos? Divorced Mermaid? And once in a while, someone suggests a name so weird everyone else has to silently question humanity. The job requires creativity, attention to detail, and the ability to argue passionately over whether a color feels sassy or mysterious. It's the only job where writing Dragon Breath Pink can get you promoted. Number 19. Walk into a stranger's house and tell them their entire personality is the wrong shade of beige. That's basically the job. Color consultants are hired to choose the right colors for homes, offices, stores, and sometimes even people's wardrobes. They bring swatch books thicker than textbooks and speak in phrases like, "This blue feels emotionally unavailable," or "This yellow has strong divorced energy." Clients trust them completely, even though color is the most subjective thing on earth. Sometimes they spend an hour convincing a customer why a wall should be eggshell instead of snow white, even though nobody on the planet can tell the difference except them. They walk through homes diagnosing color mistakes like doctors diagnosing illnesses. This room suffers from muted undertones and poor lighting choices. It's the only job where you can ruin a marriage just by saying, "This shade isn't flattering." Number 20. Body painters turn humans into walking canvases, which sounds glamorous until you realize it involves 8 hours of crouching, tiny brushes, gallons of paint, and a very naked stranger standing absolutely still in front of you. They paint superheroes, animals, illusions, chrome robots, sometimes so detailed you forget the model is human. But there's pressure. If the model moves, sweats, or sneezes at the wrong moment, an entire section smears, and you start back at square one. Events are chaotic too. Imagine finishing a masterpiece, only for the model to step outside and get smudged by someone's backpack instantly. And at the end, people always say, "Wow, amazing! How long did that take?" And the artist, with dead eyes from 9 hours of spine pain, quietly whispers, "Too long." It's the only job where your art disappears the moment someone takes a shower. Number 21. It sounds like a job from the Wild West or someone riding into town to track down fugitives. But in America, bounty hunters still exist. And they're basically freelance detectives with more paperwork and fewer cowboy hats. They search for people who skipped bail, talk to shady contacts, knock on doors at 3 a.m., and use tactics that give lawyers migraines. Some nights are calm. Some nights involve jumping fences, arguing with angry relatives, and explaining to neighbors why you're handcuffing a guy in Mickey Mouse pajamas. Despite the chaos, bounty hunters must follow legal guidelines, which vary by state. And the wrong move can land them in jail instead. It's dangerous, stressful, messy, and yet every show on TV makes it look like a casual Tuesday hobby. It's the only job where you can chase someone through a yard full of lawn gnomes and call it professional work. Number 22. Imagine walking into a room expecting a normal vet appointment, and instead you see a French bulldog lying on a tiny massage table with relaxing spa music playing, while a specialist gently inserts acupuncture needles into his back like he's a stressed-out CEO. Veterinary acupuncturists treat dogs, cats, horses, basically any creature that can develop anxiety, joint pain, or an existential crisis. They study energy pathways, pressure points, and meridians, adjusting tiny needles while the animal stares at them with the blank expression of someone thinking, "Why am I being season marinated like a rotisserie chicken?" Some animals fall asleep, some wiggle, some act deeply offended by the entire procedure. And every once in a while, the acupuncture works so well that the pet walks out looking more relaxed than its owner. It's the only job where you explain, "I help animals find balance," while removing needles from a very confused pug. Number 23. You think your job stinks? Try walking into a lab where your entire day revolves around judging strangers' morning breath at close range. Breath odor evaluators work for dental companies, mouthwash brands, gum manufacturers, anyone trying to minimize humanity's natural disaster level halitosis. The testing process is painfully simple. A volunteer exhales. You lean in, you take notes like a wine critic analyzing a very cursed vintage. Some days are easy, minty, clean, harmless. Other days, you've just inhaled something that smells like expired onions mixed with regret. The evaluator must stay calm, professional, and not visibly pass out as they rate intensity, sharpness, and flavor profile. Meanwhile, the volunteer is silently praying they brushed correctly. It's the only job where you can get PTSD from garlic knots. Number 24. Picture a wedding, white lights, soft music, people crying, and in the corner, a perfectly dressed stranger holding a plate of cake who doesn't know anyone but looks like they belong. Fake wedding guests are hired to fill seats, make the event seem livelier, or create the illusion of a huge supportive friend group. They laugh at speeches, clap at the right moments, take polite photos, and pretend they totally know the bride from way back. But it's stressful. They must blend in seamlessly. One wrong comment like, "Oh, I loved her in college," and suddenly someone whispers, "She didn't go to college." They mingle, create small talk, and fabricate harmless backstories on the spot. It's undercover work, but with more confetti and fewer guns. And when the night ends, they leave silently, never to be mentioned again, like a wedding ninja. It's the only job where you can attend a fancy event for free and get paid for smiling. Number 25. Imagine being at a wedding where the bride is glowing, the groom is sweating, and the bridesmaids are crying. Except one bridesmaid has no idea who anyone is, and she's only here because the bride paid her on Venmo. Professional bridesmaids are hired to fill the bridal party when the bride's real friends are unreliable, unavailable, or simply not aesthetically pleasing enough for photos. Harsh, but you know it's true. They give pep talks, hold bouquets, organize dresses, call mothers-in-law, and pretend they've known the bride since childhood, even though they only met her 3 days ago in a Starbucks. The pressure is insane. One wrong memory slip. Yeah, remember that time in high school? And suddenly, everyone turns slowly like the start of a horror movie. But professional bridesmaids keep their cool. They're paid actors in pastel dresses. It's the only job where you can cry tears of joy for someone who is technically a paid client. Number 26. Before they even enter a scene, crime scene cleaners are already imagining the worst. Not because they're dramatic, because they've seen the worst. These professionals scrub, sanitize, and restore places affected by accidents, crimes, or unspeakably bad decisions involving glitter, raccoons, or Thanksgiving deep fryers. They arrive after the police, after the forensic teams, after everyone else, and then begin the part nobody ever wants to talk about. Their work is precise, methodical, and emotionally draining. They clean what nobody else can, remove smells no candle could ever defeat, and restore a space so well you'd never know what happened, which is exactly the point. But some jobs are so bizarre, they'd break the average person. Like the time someone tried to cook spaghetti directly on the countertop. Crime scene cleaners don't flinch. They just sigh, put on gloves, and get to work. It's the only job where your coworkers don't even ask, "How was your day?" because they already know the answer is horrible. Number 27. The virtual land developer. Suspense, modern absurdity, clean comedy. You know the economy is broken when someone buys imaginary land and someone else gets rich designing it. Virtual land developers build houses, shops, neighborhoods, and entire cities inside digital worlds and metaverse platforms. On screen, it looks futuristic. In reality, it's just an adult moving virtual furniture around for clients who say things like, "I want my avatar's kitchen to feel more open concept." Developers draw blueprints, calculate virtual lighting, choose fake tile colors, and argue about pixel landscaping. They even host virtual house tours. Here's the dining room. Seats 6 real people and unlimited imaginary friends. Some clients buy land next to celebrities' avatars. Some buy properties for investment. Some buy because they enjoy owning something nobody can ever physically touch. It's the only job where real estate stress exists. Without any real estate. Number 28. Imagine hiring someone to walk into your house, look around for 5 seconds, and tell you your couch is blocking your destiny. That's the daily life of a feng shui consultant, a person who arranges furniture, plants, mirrors, and doorways to optimize the flow of energy, or at least convince you that moving your sofa 3 inches will fix your entire life. They step into a home with the intensity of a detective at a crime scene. They narrow their eyes, sniff the air, point dramatically at a bookshelf, and announce, "This is why you've been unlucky." Clients listen, nod, and immediately start moving entire dressers as if the consultant is reading their soul. They're not interior designers. They're interior psychologists, controlling furniture with the power of guilt and confidence. It's the only job where you can charge $300 an hour to say, "Your lamp is ruining the universe." Number 29. Picture a spa room with soft lighting, Zen music, and lavender diffusers. Now imagine a 90-pound golden retriever lying belly up on a massage table like he's at a 5-star resort. Animal massage therapists treat stress, anxiety, injuries, and whatever emotional baggage pets have picked up from their owners. They must stay calm and focused while the animal wiggles, sneezes, licks their arm, or tries to eat the massage oil. Every session is a gamble. Some pets love it and melt into a puddle of relaxation. Some act like they've been kidnapped by aromatherapy pirates. Some fall asleep and snore so loudly the windows shake. The therapist takes notes like a real medical expert. Patient responded well to circular motion until he started chasing his own tail mid-session. It's the only job where your client may fart directly in your face, and you have to pretend it's normal. Number 30, walk into a laboratory that smells like candy, coffee, fruit, and sometimes chemical despair. That's where flavorists work. These specialists design the taste behind your snacks, drinks, desserts, and mystery-flavored products that nobody asked for, but everyone tries. They mix tiny droplets of artificial compounds, swirl them in beakers, sniff them, taste them, adjust ratios, and somehow explain why something tastes 80% strawberry, 20% electrical fire. Flavorists must have a superhuman palate and the ability to describe flavors with phrases like, "This needs more brightness," or "The aftertaste feels emotionally confusing." One tiny mistake, and suddenly your new soda tastes like cough syrup mixed with regret. It's the only job where creating something delicious and creating a war crime are just one drop apart. Number 31. Picture an aquarium filled with families, flashing cameras, and excited kids pressing their faces against the glass. Suddenly, a shimmering tail swooshes by. And there it is, a full-grown adult in a mermaid costume, swimming gracefully like they're auditioning for an underwater Marvel movie. Professional mermaids train in breath control, aquatic choreography, underwater posing, and, most importantly, smiling while holding their breath for way too long. They glide around tanks, flip their fins, blow bubble kisses, and pretend the water isn't freezing when it absolutely is. But behind the magic, their tail weighs 20 pounds, their eyes sting from chlorine, and their biggest fear is a child yelling, "I saw her legs!" and destroying the illusion instantly. It's a beautiful job, magical even. But also the only job where calling in sick with, "I threw out my fin," is a legitimate excuse. Number 32, picture sitting in a living room across from a golden retriever who refuses to make eye contact, while his owners whisper, "He hasn't been himself lately." Animal behavior consultants study pets like detectives solving emotional mysteries. They observe posture, tail movement, vocal patterns, sleeping habits, looking for clues like, is he anxious or just dramatic? They take detailed notes. Cat is glaring aggressively. Dog shows signs of jealousy toward the vacuum. Parrot repeats curse words out of spite. Then they deliver the diagnosis with the seriousness of a therapist. Your dog isn't misbehaving. He's overwhelmed by your energy. And the owners always nod like they've just received the wisdom of a monk. It's the only job where you get paid to tell a family their hamster has trust issues. Number 33. Imagine walking into a pristine lab, white coats, sterile counters, clipboards everywhere. And in the middle sits a long table covered with dozens of tiny bowls of ice cream. Not for a party, for serious scientific evaluation. Ice cream tasters judge texture, temperature, melt rate, sweetness, aroma, and mouthfeel. A word that sounds wrong in every context, but is somehow vital here. They take tiny spoonfuls, swirl it around like expensive wine, and make notes like hints of vanilla, slight crystallization, emotional warmth. They must stay neutral, analytical, and composed, even though they've eaten 26 flavors before lunch and can no longer feel joy or the roof of their mouth. And the saddest part? They have to spit most of it out to avoid palate fatigue. It's the only job where too much ice cream is considered a health risk. And there you have it. 33 jobs so bizarre they make your own workday look like a privilege. Some people risk their lives for snake venom. Some climb into strangers' beds. Some pretend to be bridesmaids, CEOs, or mermaids, all while getting paid real American dollars. If you enjoyed this dive into the weird side of the U.S. workforce, hit that like button, or hire a professional line stander to do it for you. Subscribe to Factoland for more strange, darkly funny stories about the things humans do when nobody questions them. I'll see you in the next one, assuming I'm not out there naming nail polish colors again.